Hey guys, it's Aaron back with another review for you today. Aren't politics just bullshit? We hear it all the time. We see it all the time. Every time there's an election coming up, there's just, you got to get the snake charmers and all that just to try to get their votes about what they think you want. And it's always just a load of crap. And with election season coming up, I figured it'd be the perfect time to, maybe showcase some of the most insane and zany things I've seen in a film before. Without further ado, today I'm going to be talking about the 2012 film, The Campaign. So, I've got my notes, let's dive right in. So, the campaign was directed by Austin Powers alumni Jay Roach, actually, back in 2012, like I said, and it stars Will Ferrell, Zach Galifianakis, Catherine Lanasa, Jason Sudeikis, Dylan McDermott, Dan Aykroyd, and John Lithgow. So, basically, the plot is Zach Galifianakis and Will Ferrell are running for congressman and in their district. And Will Ferrell's been like on the seat for like 8 years unopposed and all that. And so Brian Cox decides to, hey, let's just get somebody into go against this guy for once. Let's do something about it. And so he's like, let's use my son, Zach Galifianakis. And of course, he's just this lovable teddy bear boob is the best way to say it. And as far as Will Ferrell goes, they definitely portrayed him based off of Bill Clinton in a lot of ways. He's just this womanizing, you know, at least the 90s Bill Clinton. He's just this, doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't really care, and just really uses it for the perks and to get laid most of the time. So with that being said, this is a good film. It is. There's, with Jay Roach a lot and the Austin Powers films, and I like the Austin Powers films, don't get me wrong, but there are moments where it's very, like, oh my God, okay, here we go again. But there's really not that many in this. There's a couple of, like, maybe not the greatest choices or whatever, but they're few and far between, and really the comedy sticks mostly within itself, and it doesn't bring a lot of outside things. And a lot of the comedy's dialogue. So that's the best part about it too. I love when films can do that and not have to bring in these outside forces and add in special whatever it may be. This is actually, I'd like to point out, one of the few times I've ever really liked Will Forte. I just don't really care for him that much. I don't think he's funny. I don't really think he's the greatest actor, or at least not what I've seen him in. But in this, he's a very small part, and it is kind of funny. So I'll give him that. So obviously, Jay Roach knows how to direct comedy, And it goes to his credit, because I hear a lot of people say that they don't really care for Mike Myers, but they have a couple characters that he likes and one that they like, and one of them is, of course, Austin Powers, directed by Jay Roach. So he knows how to. He's probably a good character director. He's an actor's director, or whatever they call that. But yeah, so as we see this go on, of course, we've got Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis, so things are going to go haywire. And they do, and in the best way a lot of times. There's of course the Will Ferrell's having affairs the whole time. Zach Galifianakis is the squeaky clean, super presumably conservative guy that you want, that all the home people want, sitting at your house and watching it. And Will Ferrell, even though he's this animal, it's kind of like he's got that charm. It's kind of like in Parks and Rec when they're talking about Senator, oh, what's his face? The guy that keeps Dexhart, I think is what it is. He keeps having the affairs, and all the women are still like, yeah, but he's kind of cute. I mean, it's kind of like how Will Ferrell is. He keeps having these affairs, but it's like it doesn't really seem to affect him. And actually, Catherine Lanasa, I hope I'm saying her name right. She plays the opposite of him as his wife, and that was a very good casting choice, because she really calls him out on his crap. And it's really funny because Will Ferrell's being typical Will Ferrell, but she's like, no. And it's really funny. So it's nice to see that. To where it's nice to see that a film like this is still relevant, because, like I said, they're laying heavily on the I don't know if it's paying homage or borrowing mannerisms from Bill Clinton. Like I said, Will Ferrell's obviously Bill Clinton. And that was, back in the 90s, and this is, so many years later, and it's still relevant and funny. They did it in a fresh way that even though we know it's coming, it's still a nice little uh thing. And this movie actually has one of my favorite performances in a comedy film and favorite lines by the same performance, and that's Dylan McDermott. He is called in later by Brian Cox's character to get Zach Galifianakis to actually, get some balls on him. And he, of course, is no nonsense and just, he's kind of a jerk and all this, but he he's talking to right before when he really starts nailing, like we've got to do this to win and all that. Um, his wife, Zach Galifianakis' wife, is getting tired of the campaign version of him, and so she's like, let's just go back and just do what we did before and have a nice family night, and we'll just goof around. And that's exactly what they do. They have all this junk food, and they're playing with the dogs, and and so he. Excuse my French, but he comes in and he kicks the doors and he goes, Marty, I need you kicking Cam's balls in on a daily basis. And I come in here and find you playing hee-haw with the fuck around game. It's like one of my favorite lines uttered in comedy. And I don't think that anybody besides Dylan McDermott could have ushered that line the way he did. It's so funny. He has such a great talent of giving um, the serious, like you can see him in American Horror Story, and he's very serious and good in that. But then he has this, it mixes with, like, he's like perfect, like, sarcastic kind of humor. It's just great. You gotta watch it for, if nothing else, for him. He's incredible. And another different character thing is Zach Galifianakis is, I think, is kind of out of character. Yes, he's still zany and he's still kind of wacky, but like if you love Zach Galifianakis because of because of the Hangover films, you may not like him as much in this one. I personally do, because even though I do like him in the Hangover films, I think this is the kind of comedy he's better at. This mixed, it's like they took the best parts of the Hangover and mixed it with kind of like that film Due Date, and also just a little bit of like a Mr. Rogers touch. It's this really nice combination, and he nails it. Um, but yeah, like I said, everyone does a good job actually. And that when they're getting when he first announces that he's doing um, the campaign, and he's like, look, this is going to change our lives upside down. So just tell me all. He's at the family with his wife and two kids, and he's like, let's just get all the secrets out right now. I promise you won't be in trouble. I just want to know before the press gets the leak of it. And so of course his kids are telling him all these horrible things. Not just like oh I grabbed I stole a stick of gum. I mean that's bad, but I mean like we're talking like really bad stuff. And he of course freaks out. But the very first one, I love it so much. He's sitting there listening, and the very first thing said is the kid goes, I used the Lord's name in vain at church or at school or something like that. And he's sitting there and he's just like sipping on his thing, and he just gives this look, and it's just comic gold. And he's like, I said I'm not gonna get mad, and I'm not gonna get mad. His wife's like, good. But then they just keep getting so much worse. You have to see that scene. It's so funny. But yeah, this is kind of I think an underrated hit, because as much as I do remember it being advertised, I don't remember it getting a lot of uh, attention afterwards. And maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention myself at the time. But like I said, I do remember it coming out. I remember seeing things about it, but I don't remember people talking about it all that much. And this is, I think, uh, some of the actors in the film, their best performances. I think it's it's for me, it's like Will Ferrell right up there with old school Will Ferrell. I love it. It's so funny. Jason Sudeikis is great in it too, but he's great in everything. Zach Galifianakis is probably my favorite one of his. Anyway, but it's just there's so many good. And like I said, this is one of the only times I've actually really been able to stomach Will Forte. I don't know what it is about him. I just don't care for him. But he's actually funny in. It's just a very good thing, and they get a perfect casting choice for Zach Galifianakis' dad as Brian Cox. And he's Brian Cox. He's just kind of grumpy old man and just no nonsense and doesn't care about anything. And he's just kind of mean and whatever. And you got, polar opposite Zach Galifianakis, like he's going to lead you into Willy Wonka's, candy area. And he's just all happy and lucky. And Brian Cox is just like about everything. But it's great dynamic between the two. It's so funny. And I don't know. I mean, the film, I do recommend watching the film, but afterwards, I will admit it is one of those films you can kind of get the best parts on YouTube. I do like the film, and I do recommend watching it. But after you watch, if I usually want to watch a clip from it or whatever, I'll watch a clip. I won't necessarily put in the whole film to watch it. So there is that, and I don't. That's not really anything disparaging against it. I just, it's for me. You don't have to sit through the film more than once to really get the effect of it. But like I said, with that being said, it is a good film. I just can't, not everyone has the time, and I understand that. So even if you don't really want to watch this film or whatever, I definitely maybe, Google or YouTube the campaign best moments or something like that, because it is really funny. Catherine Lanasa, she's, like I said, she's Will Ferrell's wife, and she calls him one of the funniest insults ever. She's like, now listen here, you dick dragging around a body. It's this, so like I said, there's moments like that are just so great, and all the acting is good, and what more can I say? I recommend it. Definitely check it out, and I should have looked it up where it was at available. I'm sorry, but find it if you can. Definitely check it out. And I will. Happy Election Day. This is for the. I don't know if it's Happy Election Day, but it's Election Day nonetheless. Get out and vote for the boobs that are in the offices that we, hold dear or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, go check it out. Let me know what you think of the comics. Like and subscribe, and yeah, just anyway, check it out, and I'll be back with another review soon. See you guys.